The snow began to fall harder just as the sun disappeared, turning the streets into quiet white corridors where even the sound of tires felt muffled and far away. Christmas Eve had arrived with a bitter cold, the kind that made people rush indoors and lock their doors early. That was when Ethan Walker saw her, an elderly woman standing alone under a flickering streetlight, clutching a small handbag, her coat too thin for the night that was coming. Something in the way she stood, unsure and trembling, stopped him cold, as if the moment itself had reached out and grabbed his heart. Ethan was a single father living in a modest town in the United States, a Christian man doing his best to raise his 7-year-old daughter, Lily, after her mother passed away 3 years earlier. Life had narrowed since then. Every decision, every worry, every hope revolved around making sure Lily felt safe and loved, even when Ethan himself felt worn thin. Christmas had become quieter in their home, less about gifts and more about getting through the season, without reopening wounds that never truly healed. If you believe in the kindness quest and second chances, in small acts that quietly change lives, take a moment now to like this video, comment, share it with someone who believes in goodness, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps these stories reach hearts that need them most. Ethan had just finished a late shift at the warehouse. His hands ached, his mind was tired, and all he wanted was to get home. Heat up leftover soup and sit beside Lily as she fell asleep waiting for Christmas morning. He could have driven past the woman. Many people already had. But something about her reminded him of his mother, who used to say that God places people in our path for a reason, especially when it's inconvenient. He pulled over. The woman looked confused, her eyes clouded with fear and embarrassment. She was lost, her phone dead, and the address she carried on a folded piece of paper had blurred in the snow. Ethan didn't ask many questions. He opened his car door, wrapped his own scarf around her shoulders, and helped her inside, turning the heater all the way up. The drive to his home felt heavier than usual, filled with quiet responsibility. He couldn't find the address she mentioned, and the storm was worsening. Taking her to a shelter on Christmas Eve felt wrong, impersonal. Without overthinking it, Ethan made a choice that would change everything. He brought her home. Lily was still awake when they arrived, sitting on the couch under a blanket, the Christmas tree lights glowing softly beside her. Instead of fear or hesitation, Lily smiled gently at the woman, as if she understood without explanation. Ethan made tea, warmed soup, and set up the spare room with extra blankets. The old woman ate slowly, hands shaking, eyes filling with tears. Not from hunger alone, but from relief. That night, Ethan barely slept. Worries crowded his thoughts. Who was she really? Had he done the right thing? Money was tight, space was limited, and trust didn't come easily after years of carrying everything alone. Still, as he listened to wind outside and heard the soft sounds of someone breathing safely under his roof, a quiet peace settled in his chest. Christmas morning arrived silently, snow blanketing everything in clean white. Lily ran into the living room, excited by the few small gifts Ethan had managed to save for. Laughter returned to the house, brief but real. When the old woman emerged from the guest room, her hair neatly brushed, her posture straighter, she looked like someone who had remembered who she was. As daylight grew stronger, pieces of her story began to surface. Her name was Margaret Collins. She had been traveling to spend Christmas with her only remaining family when confusion overtook her during a stopover in town. Years ago, she had been a teacher, then a caregiver, then a woman slowly forgotten as friends passed and family scattered. Loneliness had followed her like a shadow, growing heavier with each passing year. Ethan listened while washing dishes, while Lily caught at the table, while snow melted slowly from the windows. Margaret's presence felt strangely familiar, like a missing piece quietly clicking into place. Later that morning, a black sedan pulled into the driveway. Ethan's heart raced. Fear tightened his chest. Had he made a mistake? But when the door opened, a well-dressed man stepped out, followed by a woman whose eyes filled with tears the moment she saw Margaret through the window. They rushed forward, gratitude pouring out in waves. Margaret wasn't just an old woman lost in the snow. She was a mother, a grandmother, and the matriarch of a family that had spent the entire night searching. What Ethan didn't expect was what followed. Margaret's family insisted on sitting down. They listened as she spoke about the kindness of a stranger who had nothing extra to give yet gave it anyway. They noticed the modest home, the worn furniture, the careful way Ethan watched his daughter, protecting her world with quiet strength. The truth came out gently. Ethan had been struggling. The warehouse was cutting hours. Medical bills from Lily's past illness still lingered. He never complained, never asked for help. He simply endured. Margaret's son, a man shaped by years of success and regret, looked at Ethan with a mix of humility and resolve. He realized something that Christmas morning, wealth meant very little without compassion, and security meant nothing if you ignored people standing alone in the cold. That afternoon didn't end with dramatic promises or instant miracles. It ended with phone numbers exchanged, embraces shared, and a sense that something important had begun. In the weeks that followed, Ethan's life shifted in ways he never expected. A job opportunity opened through a connection Margaret's family made. Not charity, but fair work that valued his dedication. Lily received support for her education, guided quietly and respectfully. More than that, Margaret remained part of their lives, visiting often, becoming a presence of warmth and wisdom in a home that had known too much silence. Ethan found himself smiling more, praying with renewed gratitude, believing again that kindness wasn't wasted, even when it seemed to go unnoticed. He learned that helping someone didn't require abundance, only attention, courage, and a willing heart. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that one small act can change a life forever, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel so more stories of kindness can be told. Before the ending, we have a special request. Comment below and share what the story made you feel, or write the word kindness if you believe it still changes the world. That Christmas Eve, Ethan Walker stopped for a stranger in the snow. By Christmas morning, he discovered that sometimes, when you open your door to someone in need, you don't just save them from the cold. You invite a miracle quietly into your own life.